guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited because we are jumping into 2020 finally with my first monthly spread for you guys. I'm so excited. I also got some new craft supplies as gifts for Christmas, so I really decided to dabble in those. So there's a lot going on this week, so I want to keep this part short so we can jump right in. However, if you're new to my channel, this is going to look like the most complicated, ridiculous process that you've ever seen, because it is. However, this was just me playing with new supplies. This was just me dabbling in things that I have no idea how to use them. I was just having fun with this. I love the way that it turned out. It's so cute, but when I'm using my watercolors and all that kind of stuff, please do not take this as a watercolor tutorial, because that's probably about the opposite of what this is. If you are a watercolor artist, then you should probably avert your eyes, because I am just using what I have as far as brushes and paper and everything like that. So you're gonna probably cringe the entire time, but I really hope that you guys enjoy it, enjoy the end product as much as I do, but then also the process of how I created it. And again, if you're new here, this is not how complicated the creation of my spreads typically is. So if you are looking for a little bit more of a simplified type of process, that's normally what I'm all about. I don't really foresee myself using watercolor a whole lot in more of my spreads unless I get different materials. However, I will link some other videos of mine up top that are just mainly utilizing markers and pens. So I really hope that you'll check those out if this is your first time here. And I just want to thank you for checking me out. And yeah, so let's just jump right in. I promised you I would keep it short, and then I did not. Okay, so here it is. Alright, so I'm taking out my new watercolors, and I'm starting on this page over here rather than the quote page on the opposite side, because the quote page has my weekly spread on the back of it, and I wanted to kind of test out and see how this paper did with the watercolor paints before I went and possibly ruined my weekly spread on the other side. So, as it turns out, that's probably what would have ended up happening. As you'll see later in the video, this page is the only one that I actually end up painting on inside of the journal. So, the watercolor set that I am using is not a professional watercolor set. It's just a fun, small little pan set that my sister got me for Christmas just to play around. She knew that I wanted to just kind of dabble in watercolors, but you know, it's not something that I am super serious about making a crazy hobby out of, and I wasn't even sure how I would like it, so that's why I am using this quality of supplies, because, you know, I'm not a watercolor artist, so I definitely didn't want to go out and buy, you know, a expensive set. So that was me realizing that I am not going to be able to watercolor on all of these pages. So then I had to, off camera, basically redo the whole entire pencil design. I had already penciled everything out in my journal, and then after the first page of painting, realized that I'm gonna have to start over because I knew that I wasn't gonna paint in the journal. This made it a lot easier for me, because my sketchbook paper is thicker. It's still not watercolor paper by any means. However, It's a little bit thicker, it's medium tooth paper, and it also helped because I could work on my calendar page while my cover pages were drying, and I could keep switching back and forth. If I would have stayed in my journal, then I would have had to wait completely until the cover pages dried before I could turn the page over to the calendar page. So that would have taken probably twice as long to have to wait in between drying times. So this helped me out with my time management, although it really wasn't fun to have to do all the measuring and penciling more than once. But I was just super determined to make this spread the way that I wanted it. I didn't want to scrap the idea. I even made my husband take me to the craft store after a birthday party the other day because I just needed my white gel pen because I knew that this is what I wanted to do for my monthly spread, and I was unwavering. I didn't want to give up my idea, so I made him take me to the craft store while he sat in the car with the kids, and I ran inside and got my gel pen. So this is going to be my quote page. So I'm just making a kind of wintry galaxy sort of effect with this, and then I will draw on my quote, and then after the quote is on there, then I will go back and add in the snowflakes and everything. So as you can probably tell, especially if you're a watercolor, expert, then you are probably just like cringing watching me do this because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I am just kind of winging it, but I had a lot of fun, and I'm taping my pages together at this point just because I want to keep. It just makes it easier to keep the pages together so I can paint them all at the same time, and then I'll just untape. I tape them on the back so that when I take the tape off, then it's not going to ruin my pages. So I am coming in here and I'm doing the same kind of layering order that I did on the cover page. So I'm starting with my blue, and then I'll layer on with purple and pink. And what I want it, with the effect that I want it to have, is that I want it to be darker and moodier around all of the borders of my boxes, and then for it to kind of fade up to white up where it says January. So I want it to have that kind of wintry, stormy effect, but not up where it says January, because that'll take away from the effect of the lettering. So as I get up towards the parts where I want to keep it whiter, then I am just using more water and less paint. So as I'm going here, I am realizing that I am liking the boxes, the look that I'm getting with the boxes on the right more than what I have on the left side where the calendar is. So I'm going to go back in and add a little bit more depth and kind of storminess to this calendar edge over here. And then down towards the bottom of the page too, I just want to add a little bit more depth with those colors. And over here, I want to just add a little tiny bit of pigment, so I basically just went up by the word January with a wet brush. It had a little teeny tiny bit of pigment just from, you know, being a used brush. So that just added a little bit of something so that the whole entire top of the page wasn't white. Just going through now and just trying to get more of a blend everywhere. And back to this quote page. This was just, I guess because it was such a large area, it was just, I just was having a hard time knowing what to do with it. But at this point, I'm just kind of going in with a wet brush to kind of try to blend everything and try to make it look like there's less brush strokes on it. So setting that aside again, and now I'm finally going in with my new white gel pen. This is a jelly roll pen that I got from Joann Fabrics. And I'm just going in here and I am making some intricate snowflakes that are a little bit bigger. And then in between them, I'm doing little tiny snowflakes, just to kind of make it look blizzardy and stormy. Sorry that my fingers are all up in my work, but the paper was warping from the watercolors and from using water on it, so I had to keep pressing the page down so that I wasn't getting the little bubbles while I was trying to make these snowflakes. And then I finally decided that the smart thing to do would be to flip the page upside down so that my sleeve was not rolling through all of the wet watercolor paint that is currently drying. Bravo, Carrie. Way to use your noggin. And now I'm going through and adding some little white polka dots that's just going to look like little teeny tiny snowflakes falling. And now just making that word January come to life. This is also a Christmas gift that I got. It is a Prismacolor pen, and it came in a whole pack of like hand lettering pens and markers and stuff like that. It was a whole kit, so I'll link that down below if you guys are interested. It's really fun. It comes with different size nibs on the pens, and then there's also some brush pens and chisel points and all that kind of stuff. So my calendar is a lot smaller than what I typically use. I usually do bigger calendar boxes so that I have more room to write, but since this month is so highly decorative, I did go smaller with it so that I would have more space for that decorative theme. And I did actually end up off camera going back over this January part with a thicker black marker, because as you're gonna see here soon, the quote that I did on the left is pretty bold, so January looked pretty wimpy next to it, so I did beef it up a little bit off camera. And now I'm going in and I'm just making large snowflakes first, and I'm trying to make them all look a little bit different from each other because all the snowflakes are different, but they all are you know, anatomically correct, if that's how you want to put it. They all have 6 points. And then in between the big snowflakes, I'm going in and doing medium-sized snowflakes that still have, you know, the little frillies on them. But then I go even smaller and just do a little 6-point star, and then I go even smaller between those and add little white polka dots. So I just really want it to look like a wintry galaxy blizzard. Okay, so I'm finally finished painting my quote page, so now I'm finally laying down my actual lettering. And this is kind of my mindset for 2020. It says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And that's important to me because I feel like that's kind of what inspired me to do what I'm doing, because I've always let it hold me back when I'm not perfect, or if I don't know exactly how something is going to come to be, then I kind of just don't do anything, and I've wasted a lot of time doing that. So I think that my 2020 like plan of action is just do it, just start, just go and see where it takes me. Okay, so I'm going in and adding snowflakes to my calendar page now. So I'm doing the same exact technique. I'm going to start with these big snowflakes. These are the most intricate in detail. So I started with those, and then I went between them, did more medium, slightly less intricate snowflakes, and then between those I went even less intricate with just a 6-point little snowflake, and then I'll go through and do all of my little polka dotting to just make it look extra blizzardy. And so I am using another pen with a smaller tip from the Prismacolor pack that I got to write in the dates on my calendar, and the same pen to write the days of the week at the top of each column. And then over here in my boxes, I've got my goals/bucket list box. That's what I want to accomplish or things that I want to do, a to-do list, and my next month box. And then I am adding snowflakes to my quote page. This is the last of the snowflakes that I have to do. I started pretty small with these snowflakes because there were so many letters to go around. I tried to start with a less intricate snowflake this time around because, to be honest, it was starting to get a little bit repetitive and tedious, but realized afterwards that it looked a little too galaxy and not enough snowy, so I had to go in and add some little frillies onto my snowflakes so that they were a little bit more intricate, just so that they looked more like snow and less like stars. But I think it turned out super duper cute. Alright, so I've already measured and traced out my notebook size pages, and so I'm just untaping them, I'm cutting them down to size, And then I will use these pages to cut down my quilt page. And we've just got all these babies cut out, and then we'll just start gluing them down. Okay, so I am using my Park Lane solid tape runner from Joann Fabrics. It says permanent adhesive, but I'm not so sure. I bought this one because it came with the tape runner and a refill for the same price as like a Tombow or a Scotch brand. But I don't know. I will probably end up purchasing a Tombow in the future because I have already seen some bits of my pages start to lift up just a little bit. So I think I will eventually try out a Tombow. I'm not saying that this one is bad, the Park Lane one, but I've heard everybody rave about the Tombow. So since I was less than extremely thrilled with this one, I'll probably end up giving it a shot. And I'm just going around and rounding all of the corners. And once I get this page flat, this baby is done. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching my January monthly spread. I am thinking that next month's spread is going to be a little less complex as far as the process goes. So I really hope that I didn't lose any of you with, you know, me just kind of dabbling in some new supplies. But I was really excited. I got some new stuff and I just wanted to try it out. So if you like this video, I really hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you will subscribe because I've been posting anywhere between 1 and 2 videos a week lately. So yeah, I'm hoping to keep up with that, but I've got the Etsy shop in the works and all that stuff. Plus I am a mom and a wife and all those other crazy things. So but I do try to give as much content to you guys as I possibly can. I try to upload videos of every spread that I make, and yeah, so that is my goal, to continue through the year as well as a bunch of other things. So I am so happy that you guys are on my channel, that you're watching my videos, that you're liking my art and my journal, and I hope that I've been inspiring you to do the same. So thank you guys so much. I will see you in my next video. See ya.